In this video, I'm going to show you how I ripped these 1/4 inch thick pieces of acrylic sheet, just simply using a table saw with a construction blade and also drilling some holes in there with just a regular old drill. I don't put blue tape on the cut mark. It's already got the plastic protective film on there, so I feel that pretty much does the same thing as tape would do, painter's tape. I did put some pieces of painter's tape on here because you can see the film was peeling back in places and I didn't want it to get any worse and try and keep things from getting scratched up while I'm feeding it through there. My table saw is just an old relic jet table saw. I like it because the table is heavy duty metal top. The rip fence is clamps on true and straight. I modified it so that when I feed boards through here, I've got, you know, almost a 4-foot square, well, it's at least a 3-foot square tabletop for things to rest on as they slide through. Now what I've done with the saw blade, this is just my regular old construction blade. I've ripped hundreds of boards with this thing. I don't know what the teeth count is on it, but it's nothing special. And I don't turn it backwards or anything. What I do is just put it up, you know, my acrylic sheet is about a 1/4 inch thick, so I put this up about just about a 1/2 inch. So it just barely cuts through. We don't need these teeth coming around full circle chewing into the plexiglass. It just needs to nibble it a little bit. So that's the reason that I don't raise it up any more than I have to when I'm feeding the acrylic sheet through there. Now when you're feeding this through the table saw, it throws lots of small chunks everywhere. So you want to make sure you have your eye protection on, and also whenever you use the table saw, you should have hearing protection for obvious reasons. You can see here that I'm feeding the acrylic sheet through very slow, just letting the blade take nibbles out of it rather than big chunks. I'm not going so slow that it really melts it, but you can tell there's a little bit of, you know, melted residue on there once it's all done, but just let it go through nice and slow. I've also cut 1/8 inch thick acrylic sheet in the same fashion with basically the same results. It just comes down to taking your time and paying attention on keeping it nice and straight as you feed it through. And now for drilling the holes, I don't really do anything special other than put just some scrap pieces underneath so that when I drill through, I'm not drilling into my tabletop. I don't want to have that full of holes. So, and I put clamps on there, probably not necessary, but I did it because I'm going to be holding the camera with one hand and drilling with the other. And there's really nothing special to this. This is a 3/16 inch drill bit, just a regular old drill bit. I've drilled all kinds of other holes with it already. And what you do is you put it on your mark, and the only thing that you really have to be careful is to maybe not force it through. I just let the drill kind of work its way down through on its own, not putting too much pressure on there. And it almost melts a little bit as it goes through. And that's it. You know, I've had some critics tell me that this stuff's going to crack. Well, I've had the deer blind windows out there 3 years now in the elements, and there are no cracks in any of it. And probably because it's this acrylic, which is harder than some of that plexiglass, you know, that different kind of chemical makeup in this stuff. But this acrylic is really strong stuff, and I really don't have trouble with it cracking where I cut it or where I drilled it. So here's what I've got after I ran it through. You know, it's not a perfect edge, but it's not a cracked edge either. Now, others have suggested that you could use like a small soldering torch to put an edge, or, you know, to take care of that white stuff and make it smooth and maybe help prevent it from cracking. I just don't feel like I need to do that with this. And then frankly, I've not tried it. Maybe heat gun will work too, but I don't want to mess with warping this stuff. You know, I like it the way it is. And same with the hole here that was drilled in there, pretty nice and clean. You know, no issues with cracking around there. So, and this stuff, I've used this before and it's stood the test of time. So hopefully this helps you out if you've been wondering how you're going to cut your, you know, acrylic sheet up, often referred to, you know, also referred to as plexiglass or Lexan or whatever. But I haven't tried this with actual plexiglass. Could be different results. This is just the acrylic sheet. So hope that helps you out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.